We now have that second truly extraordinary video of the night of John Lauro, Donald Trump's criminal defense attorney, in this new indictment against him, admitting to a Trump-supporting TV interviewer to one of the elements of the criminal conduct charged against Donald Trump in Jack Smith's latest indictment. Let's listen now to the second time John Lauro has said a version of this on Trump-supporting TV interviews tonight.
President Trump wanted to get to the truth. He desperately wanted to get to what happened during the 2020 cycle. He did it in the courtroom. He did it in lobbying legislatures. That's all First Amendment. And then at the end, he asked Mr. Pence to pause the voting for 10 days, allow the state legislatures to weigh in, and then they could make a determination to audit or re-audit or recertify.
Tim Heaphy, there it is again. That is a very deliberate choice to go on television and basically admit to one of the accusations in the indictment.
Yeah, and it sort of suggests he's going to testify, right? If you're going out affirmatively with a story, a narrative, a counter narrative, it's actually not a counter narrative, it's frankly a consistent narrative with what Jack Smith has indicated, what Mike Pence has said, but it sort of suggests that the defense, President Trump will get up on the stand and he'll tell the story. Again, ill-advised for a lawyer to provide all of that information, particularly if it seems to reinforce the president's case. I think what Barb said earlier is exactly right, that this seems to be a public relations defense as opposed to a legal defense, because, again, he is now admitting that the president encouraged Mike Pence to do something that the person on whom he was relying for advice, John Eastman, had already conceded did not have merit. It seems like an admission. So I think Barb must be correct that what he's trying to do is appeal to the masses as opposed to win this case on a valid legal defense in court.
Barb McQuaid, boy, we're all hoping Tim's right about Donald Trump testifying in this case. It would be very illuminating to the country to hear from the defendant on this. I hope we get that lucky. So this is clearly now, Barbara, this was a decision that was made, very strange decision made to go out publicly and make an admission like this.
It does seem like it's a decision and not just a mistake. It's almost like they're crowdsourcing their defenses. Yeah. Yesterday, we were hearing a lot about advice of counsel. We were hearing First Amendment. Throw a few out there and let's see what resonates with the public. They're almost, focus grouping the defenses that they might use at trial. But again, I think this is all about winning in the court of public opinion. And that's Trump's game. In some ways, he succeeds in playing that game. But, I think it's a very different reality when you get inside the courtroom and a judge instructs the jury to focus on the facts and the law, and they take an oath to do that. Rigorous jury instruction, I hope, can funnel out anybody who might be inclined to nullify the law in Trump's favor.
Andrew, 2 nights ago at this hour, I asked you, I thought, the most difficult question of the day for a lawyer. When you look at this indictment, we had the indictment for the first time. Can you see a criminal defense in the courtroom? And you couldn't, but some other Republicans had been kind of throwing them around. And Barbara's right. There is a kind of crowdsourcing element to what John Lauro said tonight, because there were some Republican public officials saying, oh, he just wanted a pause. He just wanted that pause that Ted Cruz was asking for. And here we are.
Look, we saw that in the Mar-a-Lago case as soon as the search happened, where I used to call it defense du jour. Remember the planting defense? Then everything was declassified in my mind. I mean, there was just a series of different, or it was, the documents were all sent in a rush. I mean, there were just so many different things. And I think Barb's right that it's like, let's see what plays. One thing about John Lauro's statement that's worth noting is, he's going to have a very important decision. Probably the most important decision in the case is coming up at the end of August when the judge decides what's the trial date. He needs to be conveying to the judge that he is massively busy just looking through the January 6th committee evidence that Tim and his colleagues put together. going on TV is not going to impress the judge that this is something that he is so massive that he can't possibly get his arms around. It's not to say that this isn't an aspect of criminal defense, but I mean, the impression you are giving right now until the end of August, which is when she's making the critical decision in the case. I mean, everyone clearly understands it. When is the trial date? That's the whole ballgame. Mm-hmm. Because as we were all talking about, this is not a defensible case. So that's everything. This is not a good look in terms of impressing. I mean, this is an adult judge. These are not children. This is an apolitical, serious person. This is not going to help him in that argument.